Hello everybody and welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. If you are new to this channel, we talk about the three topics that are dealt with in the book by me, Deceptions of the Ages, Mormons, Freemasons, and Extraterrestrials. So today, one of the big stories, probably one of the biggest stories since the birth of Christ, is the discovery of this Gospel of James that was just sitting in Oxford University in a box somewhere. So the Gospel, or what is called an Apocalypse, which also means a collection of books or a book, was found, and it was written in Greek. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on the early church that you can also find in my book, Deceptions of the Ages, in much more detail. So, the first thing we need to talk about is the discovery itself. Now, what they found is they found parchment written in Greek that was probably written around the 5th or 6th centuries, which would be about 400 to 500 AD, which of course would have been about 400 to 500 years after the death of Jesus. First thing, when Jesus died, the saints back then thought that Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven would return with him. And so people thought that, yes, he's going to go and return. And according to the Bible, he did. And he came back and he taught for a few days, and then he returned back to heaven. Now, after Jesus died, the saints said, oh no, you know what? We're getting very old, but he never came back again. He didn't bring his kingdom of heaven to us. So we better start writing down some of the stuff that he said. So about 100 years after the death of Jesus, from 50 to 100 years, a lot of writings were produced. And at that time, Greece, because of its location between Rome and Asia, was really a bustling metropolis, and that was where all the learning was taking place. So what they found is they found a Greek text that was written by, most likely, a Greek who came down to Egypt to teach, because after Alexander, the Greeks and the Romans pretty much controlled the Egyptian world because they needed their wheat. So you have a Greek text in Egypt, and it is writings that were picked up, that were teachings of Jesus to somebody who is called Brother James, who it has been decided and confirmed, pretty much everybody agrees, not Jesus's real brother. Now let's stop and talk about the Latter-day Saint belief system before we go too much farther. Now, for years, ever since the inception of the church, or the restoration of Jesus' church, Christianity has persecuted and killed people who believe in this, and they kept them from getting jobs, and they even do that today. So there's a lot of persecution against people who believe in this system, and it's going to happen as soon as this video comes out, actually, and the world controlled by the Christian and Catholic Church is going to say, no, that has nothing to do with what Matthew Hines is talking about in the video or his book. Now, back to the death of Jesus. After he died, he didn't come back. People started writing books. People started teaching the teachings of Jesus. It was really a good system. The Emperor Constantine of Rome loved it, converted to Christianity, and they had the Council of Nicea and decided which books would be included in the Bibles, or what is called the Gospels. Now, all this happened way back in the year 325. Rome is still an entity, although it's divided into two empires by that time. Now, when the Council of Nicea met, what Constantine wanted to do was he wanted to alleviate all of this fighting that was going on between bishops of different cities, like the Bishop of Jerusalem, the Bishop of, say, Corinth in Greece or Athens, the Bishop in Alexandria in Egypt, and the Bishop in Rome, all fighting with each other. And the Emperor Constantine wanted to stop this fighting. So at the Council of Nicea, they said, bam! They said Rome, based on this saying that because Peter was killed in Rome, Rome is the capital of the church, that ended all fighting. So now let's talk about the actual text itself. According to the Apocrypha or the Apocalypse of James, Jesus taught James that first of all, the world is made up of a bunch of evil spirits. And it's very easy for people to be misled by these evil spirits because these evil spirits latch on to things like gold and power and money and death and killing for gain. Now, he called the spirits who control, or the entities who control this money system, he called them archons. And they have been present on the earth. And if you read Deceptions of the Ages, you'll understand why they're necessary. But they're here just like you and I are here. So now, according to Joseph Smith, who many regard as a prophet, he was contacted by God himself and Jesus, and they gave him certain information over a long period of time. Part of this information he was given had to do with what is used in the Latter-day Saint temple ceremonies. Now, I'm not going to go into too many details, but I will say quickly that if you're interested in this kind of stuff, read my book, Deceptions of the Ages. Very quickly though, the Latter-day Saints believe that there are certain handshakes and there are certain passwords that must be used to get into heaven. An interesting side note, Joseph Smith believed, and he talked about this to many of his friends, that there are other alien civilizations who either possess the priesthood or they don't. And if they don't possess the priesthood, they do not understand and they do not have these passwords and these codes. So, how does this affect you and I? Well, what is going to happen now is that when people see this video, they're going to come out and they're going to say, oh, there's nothing to that, and the Latter-day Saints are a bunch of idiots and chasing something. But just notice that at the same time that this information came out, Donald Trump has agreed to let America recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So this has been a signal, this is a sign that the last days are coming. And as we see, as the forces of evil gather to fight against the saints, we see that the end time is coming and that it won't be long before Jesus comes back. So you guys out there, don't get discouraged. Hang on, the good things are coming. I'm Matthew Hines. This is Deceptions of the Ages. We'll see you next time. If you like information about ETs, about the cover-up, about the secret government, about how everything works for corporations, go ahead and read my book, Deceptions of the Ages.